Welcome to our deep dive into the fascinating world of chakras,
Whoa.
specifically how they can help you find your voice.
I love that.
We'll be exploring the third, fourth, and fifth chakras, drawing from the wisdom of Anodea, Judith's Eastern body, Western mind.
Oh, a classic.
Yeah, and I have to admit, when I first started reading about the connection between these energy centers and our ability to express ourselves authentically, I was pretty skeptical. But Judith's insights really shifted my perspective.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
It's fascinating how these seemingly esoteric concepts can have such a profound impact on our everyday lives, isn't it?
Absolutely. So let's start with the third chakra, which is all about willpower, taking action, and self-esteem.
Right.
It sounds pretty straightforward,
Mm-hmm.
but Judith dives into how imbalances in this chakra can actually hinder our ability to find our voice.
Yeah, what's intriguing here is that these imbalances can manifest in two very different ways.
Okay.
What Judith calls the rigid type and the hurried child.
Oh.
The rigid type might seem confident and assertive, but their drive often stems from a deep-seated need to prove themselves, a fear of being inadequate.
It's like they're constantly trying to control their environment and their image
Right.
to mask their vulnerability.
Yes.
I've definitely encountered this type of energy before. That friend who always has to be the center of attention, always one-upping everyone else.
I know the type.
It's exhausting.
Exactly. And that's the irony. This excessive third chakra energy can actually make it harder to connect with others authentically. Because true connection requires vulnerability, the ability to let your guard down and be seen for who you truly are.
And on the flip side, we have the hurried child type
Yeah.
who struggles with a deficient third chakra. They might be passive, indecisive, and afraid to take risks.
Right.
It's almost as if their voice gets stuck in their throat, unable to express itself fully.
And often this stems from early experiences where their voice wasn't valued or respected.
Oh.
Perhaps they were criticized or shut down whenever they tried to express themselves, leading to a deep-seated fear of being judged or rejected.
So they end up silencing themselves, dimming their light to avoid potential pain. It's heartbreaking to think about the creative potential that gets stifled because of these early wounds.
It really is. But the good news is that these patterns can be shifted.
Oh, good.
Judith offers some really insightful practices for healing these imbalances. For the rigid type, it's about learning to soften, to embrace vulnerability, and to recognize that their worth isn't tied to their achievements.
And for the hurried child, it's about cultivating self-compassion,
Yes.
recognizing their inherent worthiness, and practicing setting boundaries to protect their energy. I'm curious, in your experience, what are some of the most effective ways to help someone reclaim their voice when they've been silencing themselves for so long?
One powerful practice is journaling. It provides a safe space to explore your thoughts and feelings without judgment, to start giving voice to those inner whispers that have been silenced for far too long.
It's like giving yourself permission to be messy, to experiment, and to discover your own unique voice without the pressure of an audience.
Exactly. And another powerful practice is breath work. It can help to release the tension that we often hold in our throats, allowing energy to flow more freely and our voices to emerge more naturally.
So we've seen how a lack of willpower or a fear of judgment can hold us back from expressing ourselves authentically. But what about the role of self-love? How does the fourth chakra, the heart center, factor into our ability to find our voice?
That's a great question. The fourth chakra, the heart center. It's all about love, compassion, and connection, both with ourselves and with others. And Judith argues that self-love is absolutely essential for finding our voice, because how can we express ourselves authentically if we don't first love and accept who we are?
It's like trying to build a house on a shaky foundation. Without that solid base of self-love, our voice will always be wavering, lacking confidence and conviction.
Exactly. And Judith goes even deeper, exploring the concept of the inner marriage, the balance of masculine and feminine energies within each of us. She uses the terms anima and animus to describe these energies.
Right.
The anima representing the feminine principle of receptivity, intuition, and nurturing, and the animus representing the masculine principle of action, assertiveness, and direction.
So it's not about gender stereotypes, but rather about finding that harmonious balance between these two forces within ourselves. Because if we're out of balance, we might find ourselves suppressing certain aspects of our personality,
Right.
which can also stifle our voice.
Precisely. For example, someone who's overly identified with their masculine energy might struggle to express their emotions or tap into their intuition.
Oh, interesting.
They might come across as rigid, controlling, or even aggressive in their communication. Their voice might be loud, but lacking in genuine connection.
And on the flip side, someone who's overly identified with their feminine energy might struggle to assert themselves or set boundaries. They might hold back their truth for fear of rocking the boat or displeasing others. Their voice might be soft and hesitant, easily drowned out by the noise of the world.
So finding that inner balance is crucial for allowing our voice to emerge fully and authentically. It's about embracing all aspects of ourselves, the light and the shadow, the masculine and the feminine, and integrating them into a whole harmonious being.
That makes so much sense. I can see how this inner harmony would create a sense of grounded confidence that would naturally radiate outward in our communication.
Yeah.
But what about those deep-seated fears and insecurities that we often carry with us, especially if we've experienced trauma or suppression in the past? How do we move past those blocks to find our voice?
Judith offers a number of powerful practices for healing these wounds and reclaiming our power. One is forgiveness, not just forgiving others, but also forgiving ourselves for any ways we've silenced or betrayed our own truth.
Forgiveness can be so challenging,
It can.
especially when we've been deeply hurt. But I can see how holding on to resentment or anger would only create more energetic blocks, keeping us trapped in the past.
Exactly.
Yep.
Forgiveness is about releasing those heavy burdens so we can move forward with more lightness and freedom.
Yeah,
And another powerful practice Judith suggests is conscious acts of service.
that's interesting. How does serving others help us find our own voice?
When we focus on giving back, on contributing to something larger than ourselves, it can shift our perspective and help us connect to a deeper sense of purpose. This can boost our confidence and inspire us to use our voice for good. Plus, acts of service often involve collaboration and communication, which can provide opportunities to practice expressing ourselves in a safe and supportive environment.
So we're seeing this interconnectedness between the chakras, how imbalances in one can affect the others.
We are?
We started with the third chakra, willpower,
Right.
and how that can impact our ability to express ourselves. Then we move to the fourth chakra, self-love, and how that creates a foundation for authentic communication. Now let's dive into the fifth chakra, the throat center,
Yes.
which is directly related to our ability to speak our truth. What are some of the key insights that Judith offers about this energy center?
Well, as you mentioned, the fifth chakra is all about expression, communication, and speaking our truth. And Judith emphasizes that unexpressed emotions can literally get stuck in our throats,
Wow.
creating energetic blocks that can lead to physical and emotional tension. She even uses that dramatic example of the Tacoma Narrows Bridge collapsing from the vibrations of the wind as a metaphor for how unexpressed vibrations, emotions, thoughts, creative impulses can wreak havoc on our well-being.
That's such a vivid image. It makes me think about how we often try to suppress or ignore those uncomfortable emotions.
Right.
But they don't just disappear. They build up inside us, creating pressure that can eventually erupt in unhealthy ways.
Exactly. And Judith also highlights how childhood experiences can impact our ability to communicate authentically. If we are criticized, yelled at, or silenced as children, we might develop patterns of speaking too much or too little, or struggle to express our needs clearly.
It's like our voice gets conditioned to fit into certain molds to avoid triggering those painful memories of being judged or rejected. We might become people pleasers, afraid to rock the boat or express an opinion that differs from the norm.
Yes, and Judith also describes another character structure related to the fifth chakra, the challenger defender. These individuals are often charismatic and expressive,
Interesting.
but their expressiveness can be a defense mechanism, a way of masking their underlying vulnerability. They might be quick to debate, argue, or interrupt, always needing to be right. Their voice might be loud and forceful, but it's often lacking in genuine connection and empathy.
It's almost like they're using their voice as a weapon, a shield, to protect themselves from being hurt or seen as weak.
That's a great way to put it. And this type of energy can be especially challenging in relationships because true intimacy requires letting go of that need to control and allowing ourselves to be vulnerable.
So we've explored these different patterns and imbalances that can hinder our ability to find our voice. But what are some practical steps we can take to heal these wounds and start expressing ourselves more authentically?
One of the most powerful practices Judith suggests is simply paying attention to our voice, how we use it, how it feels in our bodies, and how it impacts others.
Okay.
She recommends vocal exercises like singing, chanting, humming, or even just speaking out loud to release tension and connect with the power of our voice.
I love that. It's like giving ourselves permission to play with our voice, to experiment with different tones and inflections, and to discover its full range of expression. It reminds me of when I first started taking singing lessons. I was so self-conscious and afraid to let my voice out. But as I practiced, I started to feel this incredible sense of liberation and empowerment.
Exactly. And Judith also emphasizes the importance of listening to sounds that are soothing and uplifting music, nature sounds, guided meditations, anything that helps us to relax and connect with our inner selves.
It's like creating a sonic bath for our souls, washing away the noise and stress of the world, and allowing our true voice to emerge.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And another powerful practice Judith suggests is journaling. It provides a safe space to explore our thoughts and feelings without censorship, to start giving voice to those inner whispers that have been silenced for far too long.
Yeah.
We can write whatever we want in our journals without fear of judgment. It's like giving ourselves permission to be messy, to experiment, and to discover our own unique voice without the pressure of an audience.
So much of this seems to be about creating a sense of safety and permission, allowing ourselves to explore our voice without fear of judgment or criticism.
Absolutely. And that's where self-compassion comes in again. We need to be gentle with ourselves as we embark on this journey of self-discovery. It's not about striving for perfection or trying to force ourselves to speak up in every situation. It's about honoring our own pace and finding ways to express ourselves that feel authentic and empowering.
And sometimes that might mean taking small steps, sharing our thoughts and feelings with a trusted friend, setting boundaries in a difficult conversation, or expressing our creativity through art or music.
It's about finding those outlets that feel safe and supportive and gradually expanding our comfort zone as we gain confidence.
It's like building a muscle. The more we use it, the stronger it becomes.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And as we strengthen our voice, we also start to attract more supportive and like-minded people into our lives. We create a ripple effect of authenticity and empowerment that can inspire others to find their own voices as well.
So finding our voice is not just about personal growth, it's also about contributing to a more authentic and connected world.
Absolutely. And when we can speak our truth with clarity, compassion, and courage, we create space for others to do the same. We break down the walls of silence and isolation and build bridges of understanding and empathy.
It's amazing to think about the transformative power of simply finding our voice. Wow, it's incredible how this deep dive into chakras has really connected the dots between our energy centers, self-love, and finding our voice. What stands out to you as the most impactful takeaway for our listener?
I think for me, it's the reminder that finding your voice isn't just about speaking up. It's about aligning your entire being, your will, your heart, and your expression with your authentic self.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing those deep-seated patterns, those rigid or hurried child tendencies we discussed, and understanding how they might be holding you back.
You're so right. I think for a long time I associated finding my voice with being loud or assertive.
Right.
But Judith's work highlights the importance of inner harmony. It's about that self-love piece, that integration of the masculine and feminine that allows us to express ourselves from a place of wholeness.
Exactly. And that wholeness, that alignment, naturally radiates outwards. When you're grounded in your truth, your voice, whether spoken, written, or expressed through creative pursuits, carries a different kind of weight. It resonates with authenticity.
And I'm also struck by the idea that this is a journey, not a destination. There's
Right.
no perfect way to express ourselves, and we're constantly evolving.
Absolutely. And that's where the practices Judith outlines become so valuable. Journaling, breathwork, forgiveness, conscious acts of service. These aren't one-time fixes, but rather ongoing tools to help us stay connected to our truth and navigate the inevitable challenges that arise along the way.
It's like we're constantly fine-tuning our instrument, our voice, so that it can express the ever-evolving symphony of our soul. So for our listener who is ready to embark on this journey of finding their voice, what's one practical step they can take today?
I'd encourage them to simply start paying attention.
Okay.
Notice how you feel when you speak your truth. Are there situations or people that make you feel constricted or silenced? What are the subtle ways you might be holding back? And conversely, what activities or environments make you feel empowered to express yourself freely?
Oh, that's good.
Start to map those patterns, those energetic currents, and you'll begin to see where the work needs to be done.
That's such great advice. It's not about forcing ourselves to change overnight, but rather about cultivating that awareness, that inner observer that can guide us toward greater authenticity and expression. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to thank you for sharing your wisdom and insights. I feel like I've gained a whole new perspective on what it means to find my voice.
It's been my pleasure. And remember, the world needs to hear what you have to say. Your unique voice, your story, your perspective, it matters.
Yeah.
So keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep expressing your truth. The journey is just beginning.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of chakras and finding your voice. Be sure to check out Anodea Judith's Eastern Body, Western Mind for more incredible insights. And until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep shining your light.